All honorable members. Disang, can you flight our agenda for us so that everyone on the platform is able to see our agenda?
Is flight to check?
Thank you so much, Disang. As everyone can see on the platform, there we have our agenda. We are busy with the opening and the welcome and the purpose. I will do some opening remarks under the first item. It will be followed by the apologies, and where Disang will be giving us also the delegations and who is in our meeting. It will be followed by the adoption of the agenda. And then it will be followed, I can see there, as you'll see there on the agenda, it does not state there, but before CATHSSETA will come and give us the briefing, we will give our Honorable Minister Dalil, before CATHSSETA, an opportunity to do some remarks. Then after CATHSSETA has given us a briefing, we will then have deliberations. Then it will be followed by CATHSSETA then interacting with the questions that would be posed by honorable members. And then we will do our in-house duties, our adoption of our minutes. And before the in-house duties, we will do some closing remarks. So that is our agenda for today, honorable members. And our delegation of CATHSSETA, as well as our delegation from Department of Tourism. The committee in the 7th Parliament has prioritized tourism skills training as an important element of oversight. We have identified that the Department of Tourism has a number of skills programs in various aspects of the tourism sector. However, as the committee, we are concerned about the absorption of graduates from these training programs. We have identified that the Department of Tourism has a number of skills programs in various aspects of the tourism sector. However, as the committee, we are concerned about the absorption of these graduates. We have engaged the Department of Labour and the Tourism Business Council of South Africa on various matters, including the Tourism Skills Program. The following issues have emerged, and we would like CATHSSETA to provide more clarity on how these issues are addressed. The tourism sector is a fast-paced sector that is affected by the technological development and advancements internationally. We want to know how CATHSSETA is equipping the sector with technological training that define the skills for the future. CATHSSETA must provide demand-led skills instead of traditional mass training. TBCSA has raised concerns about training programs that are not aligned with industry needs. CATHSSETA should demonstrate in this meeting how the training programs provided align with industry needs so that there is no need for retraining of staff by the private sector when graduates are employed. The issue of curriculum has also been raised by stakeholders in our oversight work. CATHSSETA is requested to provide more information on the relevance of the curriculum provided by various training service providers, including institutions of higher learning. The Department of Tourism has a program that recognizes experience of people working in the tourism industry. So CATHSSETA is requested to take the committee into confidence on the process followed in issuing of certification based on recognition of prior learning. There have been issues reported in the past about the backlog in issuing tour guide certificates. We would like to hear whether these issues have been resolved. The committee also prioritized tourism development in villages, townships, and small dorpies, which we refer to as VTSDs. We would like to hear how CATHSSETA ensures equitable distribution of training programs to include what we call VTSDs. There's also an issue of scarce skills in the sector. We dealt with this issue with the Department of Employment and Labor from the employment of foreign nationals in the sector. We would like to hear the approach of CATHSSETA in ensuring that South Africans receive training on scarce skills so that they can be employed in these job opportunities. I am mentioning all these things because tourism is and will remain a labor-intensive sector. And for the sector to employ more people, we need to provide relevant skills that are fit for purpose whilst keeping up with technological advancements. We must convene a meeting with the Department of Tourism and the South African Short-Term Rental Association, SASTRA. As you may know, SASTRA represents short-term rentals facilitated through booking platforms such as Airbnb and Booking.com. These are international companies that have a footprint that dominates short-term rentals in South Africa. As a committee, we are interested to know how CATHSSETA can contribute to providing skills training to South Africans entrepreneurs who may be interested in technological training in opening booking platform companies. The presentation gives high-level information on some of the issues I have raised. However, I request that the presenter gives more details and elaborate on the issues that I have raised in my opening remarks. We will now move to the second item on our agenda, which is apologies. Disang, may you take us through the apologies?
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, the apologies I've received are from the Member of Parliament of the committee, who is Mr. Mutli. He's still on sick leave, Chair. And then from the delegation, we do have an apology from our Minister, Mr. Honorable Dilili, who will leave at around 11 o'clock due to cabinet commitments, Chair. Not cabinet commitment, but a meeting that she had already committed to. And then we've also got an apology from the DG of Higher Education, Dr. Shishi. However, there is an acting DG from Higher Education present, Chair. And then in terms of the delegation that we have, we've got the delegation of the department led by the Minister and the Deputy Minister. And then we've got the present, the DG of Tourism, Mr. Vele. And then we've got the DDG Sitwaba and the official supporting the Office of the Minister and the Deputy Minister and the DG's office. And then from the Department of Higher Education Chair, we've got present the Acting Director Generals for Skills. He will leave and join the Minister later on, Chair, but I don't know what time will he leave. And then who is the Mr. David Mabusela? He's the acting DG present. And then we've got Mr. Max Tibela, who is the CEO for CATHSSETA. And then we've got Ms. Lebumpie, who will also be presenting. And then we've also got the chairperson of the board for CATHSSETA, Chair. I'm not sure what the name here, they didn't put the name. Then we've got Ms. Kabo Monjani, who is the chief of staff in the DG's office, and the PLO, Mr. Mhlame. There's a delegation from the Department of Higher Education and Training, Chair, that has been invited. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much, Disang. Honorable members, there you have the delegations of who is present in our meeting. We'll now move to the next item on the agenda, which is the adoption of the agenda. Disang, can you assist me with hands? Is there a mover for the adoption of the agenda?
Yes, Chair, we've got Honorable Fango, followed by Honorable Ishmael.
Okay, Honorable Slongo.
Thank you very much, Chair, and greetings to everyone on the platform. Chair, can the apology of Honorable Maecho please be noted also? He's in the UK with the Labour Portfolio Committee. With that being said, I move that we adopt the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Slongo. Honorable Ishmael.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, colleagues and everybody on the platform. Chair, with the input of Honorable Stay, I hereby second the agenda, the moving of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. With that said, our agenda is duly adopted for today. Disang, just note the apology from Honorable Maecho.
Noted, Chair.
Thank you, Disang. Next on our agenda, we will give the Honorable Minister, Patricia de Lille, an opportunity to make some brief remarks. Honorable Minister, over to you.
Thank you, Honourable Chair and Honourable Members, and good morning to the Deputy Minister, the DG, and everybody on the platform. And thank you, Chairperson, for this opportunity to discuss this critical intersection of skills development and our national tourism strategy. So today's briefing is vital. It's a vital conversation about the engine of our industry, our people that are working in this industry. Because we must always remember that tourism contributes at least 8.8% to the GDP. And if we want to reach our target of 15 million arrivals and 1 million direct jobs by 2030, we must go beyond business as usual. Because, Chairperson, for too long, and we have to now shift to demand-led training. There's been a mismatch between the training supplied and the actual needs of the workplace. We sometimes hear from employers that while graduates might have the theory, they often lack the professional customer service and problem-solving skills on the front lines. So our focus must shift to a model of demand-led skills. And what does this mean? It really means that we need to align the curriculum. We need to look at work-integrated learning. And we also have to look at other strategic partners like the Harambee Youth Accelerator to create scalable pathways in the sector. Chairperson, under the Tourism Growth Partnership Plan and under Working Group 5 on job creation, we have agreed that we should not just be training for training's sake, that we must use data to identify demand hotspots, for instance, in hospitality, business events. And we must also ensure that every rand that we spend on bursaries or learnership translate into a paycheck for that young person. In conclusion, Honourable Chairperson, there is a memorandum of understanding between the department and CATHSSETA. This is expired, and I'm told that we are currently reviewing this memorandum of understanding to align the memorandum to demand-led skills and skills that can lead to employment directly after training. Because skills development is the foundation of service excellence. And by ensuring our training is led by the industry demand and integrated into the Tourism Growth Partnership Plan, we will not only grow our economy, but we will also provide meaningful professional careers for many, especially young South Africans. So, Chairperson, I really look forward to the deliberations on how we can further hold these institutions accountable for the success of our learners and our sectors. And thank you also for accepting my apology for early departure. Deputy Minister will remain with the Portfolio Committee. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for those remarks. And we have duly noted your apology to leave at 11. Our next item on our agenda is where we are going to receive a briefing by CATHSSETA. Now I want to, say the whole name. Culture, Arts, Tourism, Hospitality and Sports Sector Education and Training Authority. Oh, that's a whole mouthful. So they will give us a briefing on their training programs and the collaboration with the Department of Tourism and the Tourism Business Council of South Africa. Now, Disang, from when you have given us the delegation, you've said that Ms. Lebo from CATHSSETA will be doing the presentation. Is that correct, Disang?
That's correct, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Disang. Over to you, Ms. Lebo. But probably before Ms. Lebo will come in, the acting DG, Mr. Mabusela, would like to say some brief remarks. Acting DG Mabusela, over to you, and then followed by Ms. Lebo. Disang, am I audible?
You are audible, Chair.
Okay. Acting DG Mabusela.
There's also a chairperson of the board for CATHSSETA present, Chair. I understand so.
Okay. Is the acting DG not present in the meeting?
He was present.
Am I audible?
Okay, there we can hear. We can hear you now, yes. You may proceed, acting DG.
Just to correct that, acting DDG.
Oh, it's DDG.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, acting DDG.
Yes, let me, on behalf of the Department of Higher Education, let me take this opportunity to appreciate the invitation that you have received. And we also agree with the view that we need to embark on a broader skills revolution agenda that basically looks at the expanded delivery of skills across all sectors. In this particular instance, we are here to support the CATHSSETA, which is one of our sectors which we carry oversight on. Upon this invitation from tourism department, we have prepared a presentation that will be cited by the CEO of CATHSSETA. The presentation captures basically the elements that relate to the journey that we will undertake, which basically have themed the skills revolution. And enunciated by the president himself to say, for us to basically address the acute unemployment rate, we really need to relook at how we approach the skills development agenda. Hence, now we speak of a rolling skills revolution agenda. So without wasting any further time, CEO of CATHSSETA, Mr. Tibela, will be able then to present what we really have and are looking at in collaboration with the Department of Tourism. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mabusela. I'll hand over now to the presenter of the presentation that we've received. The presenter from CATHSSETA, who is going to present the presentation? Is it going to be Mr. Tibela or Ms. Lebo?
Greetings to you, Chairperson, to the Honorable Minister, the Honorable DM, and Honorable members. I am Lebohang Mpie, the Executive Manager Learning Programs at CATHSSETA. I am with the CEO of CATHSSETA and the Chairperson, and I would like to request that the CEO of CATHSSETA be given an opportunity just to greet, and the Chairperson, and I will proceed with the presentation, Chair, if it's that permissible.
Ms. Lebohang, it's permissible to CEO and Chairperson, you may greet us.
Chair, I think there is probably a problem. Let me just continue with the presentation, and I think they will come through when we do towards the end during questions and answers. But I see CEO has shared his screen, and I had already shared my screen, but we can't hear him. There's probably a problem with his connections. CEO, if you can hear us, can you please remove the presentation? Because I'll not be able to move. It's already on slide 5, and I want to start on slide 1. Unless you move it for me, we can go to slide 1. I see you can hear us. It's just that you're not able to speak. Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair and honorable members. This is just a briefing, from CATHSSETA to the Portfolio Committee. We have been requested to come and present today, the 24th of March, 2026. Can we move to the next slide? And our presentation entails the purpose of the briefing, overview of CATHSSETA, tourism sector overview, size and structure of the SETA learning programs implemented. Can you please go to slide 2, CEO? You went to slide 1. Yes, size and structure of the SETA learning programs implemented, partnership and collaborations, priority and scarce skills, funding model and criteria and grant administration process, challenges and way forward and closure. Can we move to slide 3? And the CATHSSETA delegation is Mr. Max Tibela, as indicated, Ms. Lebohang Mpie, Dr. Tebogo Umana, and Mr. Jerry Mukadikwa. Thank you. Can you go to the next slide? And Chair, the purpose of the briefing is to provide the committee with an overview of CATHSSETA's interventions in the tourism and hospitality subsectors, outline the legislative mandate of CATHSSETA, outline the process of identifying the proper priority and scarce skills within various subsectors, outline partnerships and collaborations effort, and share the challenges experienced. Next slide, CEO. Yes, this is just an overview of our mandate that the CETA disperses the discretionary grants to employers and institutions of higher learning for facilitation of learning programs on qualifications related to the 6 subsectors, guided by the following legislation, which is the Skills Development Act, National Development Plan, National Skills Development Plan, White Paper on Post-Education and Training, and South African Qualification Authority Act. And just an overview, we all know that there are 21 CETAs in South Africa, and CATHSSETA is one of those CETAs that have been established under the Skills Development Act number 97 of 1998 to facilitate skills development within our subsectors. And it is organized into 6 subsectors representing an extremely vast and varied sectors in terms of nature, scope, and size. We are responsible for skill sets of the arts, culture, and heritage subsector, conservation, gaming and lotteries, hospitality, sports, recreation and fitness, and travel and tourism. And continuation of our legislation, we are guided by the skills development. I think we went back, CEO, you went up instead of going down. Yes, thank you. And this is just our strategic overview. I will not just go through the mission and all that. Just want to focus on the SSP. The SSP is the skill set, the skill sector plan that we commission as a CETA on an annual basis, where we meet the industry for the industry to advise the CETA on the qualifications or area of focus that we need to be looking into in a particular strategic plan, which is 5 years, or the strategic performance, annual plans. So we are looking into 4th Industrial Revolution, training provision, analysis of skills needs, increased partnership to include worker-initiated intervention, sector advancement, SMME interventions, and green economy, monitoring and evaluation, addressing occupational shortages and skills gaps, technological advancement to combat the impact of COVID, and sector transformation. The Honorable Minister spoke about the skills mismatch. So as a CETA, we're trying to avoid that by doing research before we implement, so that we can get information from the subsectors on what priorities are we supposed to be looking into. Chairperson, if you allow me, I will just move, because others are just information for sharing. But for purposes of today, I think the strategic areas are the ones that are more pertinent. And within the CETA, we have done, as well as we do the SSP, we have done a research that outlines the landscape of our subsectors. So this is just to illustrate that under arts and culture, we have 1,936 entities that have registered with SARS, and they're contributing about 5% of their levies with CATHSSETA. We then have conservation that has 1,854 that also contributes 5% of the levies to CATHSSETA. We also have hospitality, that is our major contributor, which has about 27,000 registered entities contributing about 67%, and gaming and lotteries, which is our smallest sector, that has about 1,363, contributing about 3%, and sports, recreation and fitness, representing about 9%, with 3,592 registered entities. Travel and tourism, or tourism and travel, we have, it's our second largest contributor, at 11%, and they have about 4,680 entities that are contributing to us. And we have in total about 40,000 entities that are contributing to us. However, we have a challenge that some of them are not adhering to SARS and submitting their 1% levies so that we can have the revenue. So this is just to show, the landscape of the CATHSSETA subsectors, how they're structured in terms of the entity size and number of registered entities. Thank you. Can we move? And the tourism overview, according to our records, it says that tourism is a key contributor to SA. SA's GDP at plus minus 3 to 4%, supports approximately about 1.5 million jobs, direct and indirect, highly labor intensive and youth absorbing sector, and a critical for SMME development and rural economic inclusion. So we continue with the size and structure. The tourism sector comprises accommodation, travel services, attractions and events. It is dominated by SMMEs and informal enterprises. It has a strong linkages with transport, retail and cultural industries. And also it is significant, it is a significant potential for inclusive economic growth. And as CATHSSETA, our mandate is to disburse discretionary grants, and our discretionary grants are divided into two. We have pivotal programs and non-pivotal programs. So as we get the levies that are being contributed at SARS, they filter through to different CETAs, and we are mandated to provide the communities with pivotal programs. And pivotal programs stands for an acronym which means professional, vocational, technical, and academic learning programs that results in full qualification or part qualifications that are registered on the National Qualification Framework. And these pivotal programs consist of learnerships for employed and unemployed, skills programs for employed and unemployed, artisans for unemployed, and graduate internships. So the grants that we receive, we fund these programs. We also have the internships and diploma, national diploma, which is work integrated learning for TVET colleges, internship category 1, which is university placements, bursary, employed and unemployed, recognition of prior learning. The Honorable Minister also spoke about RPL, and on the notes that were set by you, Honorable Chair, you spoke about RPL, and it is our responsibility to also tap in that space and train our people on the RPL program. And we also have the adult education and training program that we're funding under pivotal grants. I've already spoken about the 1% that we get through SARS, and SARS takes about 2% from the 1%, and 18% goes to National Skills Fund, and the CETAs just gets about 80% of the levies, and from that 80%, we distribute it in 3, which is 49. It's 80%, but on that 80%, as we receive it as a CETA, we have 49.5 that goes to discretionary grants, and 20% goes to mandatory grants, which is refunds to qualifying levy payers, and 10% is for administration of the CETA. Programs funded through discretionary grants, which constitute 49.5 of the CETA's budget, which is your pivotal and non-pivotal programs. We open a competitive grant application process where employers and stakeholders are required to apply. And as CATHSSETA, we facilitate rather than directly implement training. So we just facilitate the skills development we have training providers that does the actual training to our communities. And the criteria we use is we fund the levy payers, and for us to fund them, they must be up to date with their levy payments with SARS. So we will not fund you if you're not up to date. 60% of our allocation goes to the CATHSSETA levy payers. So as we get the funding from DHET, we will take 60% of that and return it back to the levy payers, those that are paying levies. We return it back to them. And pivotal training must commence in the implementation during the financial year where the contributions have been made. And the pivotal training must address occupational shortages and skills gaps as identified by CATHSSETA through the workshops that we do with our industry and the SSP that we eventually produce. Next slide. So the historical collaboration and partnership that we have with the Department of Tourism is that we have partnered with them for over 10 years on the Tourism Career Expo, the program that was implemented in collaboration with various provincial departments on economic development. The NTC drew thousands of learners nationwide and exposed them to various career opportunities within the subsectors. The initiative was discontinued by the department in 2025, and there are no current partnerships between CATHSSETA and the department, and as well as Tourism Business Council for in the here and now. Partnership with various provincial departments of economic development in relation to learnerships and internships exist, and there are no current partnership as indicated with Tourism Business Council. So this is an illustration of programs implemented in the tourism sector. In 2022-2023, we have provided different interventions, which is our learnerships, bursary guide, graduate internship, TVET, WIL, HET. We provided assistance to 203 learners with a budget of about 12 million. 2023, it was about 443 learners at 26 million plus. And 2024 is 684 learners at 36 million plus. 2025 is 568 learners at 27 million, 402,060. And in the past 4 years, we have assisted or funded 1,898 learners for different interventions at 101, 680, 890 million. And priority and scarce skills identified for the subsectors. One of the mandates of CETA is to develop a sector skills plan for sector and identify priority and scarce skills needs. This process is undertaken using the data that is contained in the work skills plans that are submitted by levy payers entities every year, desktop research that is conducted internally, and various other research studies. The final SSP document must contain a list of priority and scarce skills. The final skill SSP is approved by the Minister of Higher Education and Training, and it gets published on the CETA website and also shared. It gets shared with the stakeholders. Priority and scarce skills identified, for example, digital and e-tourism capabilities, CATHSSETA service and customer service and experience management, tour guiding and destination management, hospitality and culinary skills, entrepreneurship and SMME development, and sustainable and green tourism practices. The other issue I think that is eating into the heart of the training space is the fact that we are moving in from the legacy qualifications into the occupationally directed qualifications. And we have two sets of qualifications, and we thought it is prudent for us to just also indicate, let's go back to the committee about the two types of qualifications we have. On the legacy qualifications, we have a national certificate on general travel, and we have level 5 with about 147 credits. And we also have SAQA ID 83396, National Certificate Community Development Tourism, NQF level 5 credits 147, SAQA ID 17174, National Certificate in Tourism Guiding, NQF level 2 credits 134, SAQA ID 71549, Further Education and Training Certificate, Tourism Guiding, NQF level 4 credits 134. This is under the legacy qualifications that are being phased out this year, 30th of June. And on the occupationally directed qualifications, we have already transferred or reviewed the qualifications to align with the occupationally directed requirements. And we have already registered 2 qualifications, which is SAQA ID 101865, Occupational Certificate, Tourist Information Officer, NQF level 5 with 280 credits. Can you go back, CEO? I only cited one. The other one is Occupational Certificate, Travel Professional, NQF level 5 with 252 credits. Honorable members, these are recent qualifications, which therefore means we have consulted the industry, and I'm sure these qualifications have embedded current legislation. They've embedded current they have current inputs on what the industry requires. So, for instance, if the previous ones did not have issues of ICT, they would have included that on the new qualifications, because we want to align the new qualifications with current trends within our employment space. We can move to the next slide, Chair. And we are currently reviewing the following 6 qualifications, which is Occupational Certificate, Tourist Information level 5, Occupational Certificate, Travel Professional, NQF level 5 with 252 credits, National Certificate, General Travel, National Certificate, Community Development, Tourism, National Certificate in Tourism Guiding, Further Education and Training Certificate, Tourism Guiding. And honorable members, for us to review, we get the request from the industry that says, let's review this qualification from the legacy. As CATHSSETA, we're just facilitating the process between the industry, SAQA, and QCTO. So we get a request for us to review a certain qualification, and that committee as well is the one that comes with the name of the qualification. They also agree on the credits that will be suitable for that. So we invite different SMEs from institution of higher learning, and also for practical, we also include the industry to come and tell us what they would want to see on the qualifications we are reviewing. Let's move to the next slide, Sibo. And the strategic shift and future focus, the CETA has changed its focus from compliance-driven to implementing impact-driven programs, which lead to sustainable employment outcomes. We are strengthening partnerships with the industry and implementing high-impact projects to make the workplace opportunities available for learners requiring work integrated learning and graduate placements. And also we develop the occupationally directed qualifications. So we did not include a slide on what we have done, but I think just for clarity, we have partnered with, for instance, the McDonald's South Africa, where we were training about 1,400 learners, and they contributed the training fees, and CATHSSETA contributed stipend. So you can imagine if it was CATHSSETA that is implementing this program alone, we were not going to be able to afford the 1,400 learners. But because we have partnered and we have co-joined our budget, the number of learners at least went to 1.4. And from that 1.4, we have, during our contracting, requested, or one of the clauses that we have included was that McDonald's must absorb about 80% of those learners into a permanent employment. And the project has since been completed. We have met our target. However, with the learners that have completed and received the certificates, we have some that declined employment, and some wanted to start their businesses. Others had personal issues that did not allow them to work at that time. And as CATHSSETA, we also are planning to identify the ones that wanted to start businesses so that we can help them with mentorship and just see where they are so that we don't just leave them. The program was approved by the board for 3 years. We're now going into the second phase of the program. We have moved from 1,004 to 2,000 learners, where the modus operandi is still the same. We're contributing stipends, they're contributing on training fees. And we have some as well. We have one with SENPACs as well, where SENPACs has promised to also absorb some of the learners into their packs. And it is a lucrative program. It just started. Now we just finalized the contracting. I think training will start in the next financial year, which is about 7 days from now. And we have others that are coming through. We have NEF that also just came. They have funded about 10 SMMEs that are going to start businesses. They want us to train their staff so that at least within the first year, those learners are provided with professional skills and they will absorb them at the end. So we are moving indeed as a CETA into a high impact project, space where we're not only counting numbers. We can move to the next slide, CEO. The challenges that we are experiencing as a CETA is limited workplace opportunities for learners, economic pressure on tourism businesses resulting in reduced skills levies, low employer participation in the implementation of some of the CETA programs, delay in the realignment of qualifications from the legacy pre-2029 qualifications into the occupationally directed qualifications, which requires direct involvement of employers and industry. So we will invite the industry to come to the meetings, and they will not come. We use the data that we got from SARS that shows who's paying for levy, and the data that is there for government departments and all that. Some come and some do not come. And for instance, if we want to do a qualification on tourism, and as we motivate, after we get the motivation from the industry, we as a CETA have to motivate them to QC2O. We need to indicate who's going to use the qualification, and we attach a list of entities that are registered that have signed the initial letter that came to CATHSSETA. And should we now invite them and half of those people do not come to a meeting, we can't proceed, because the deliberations that will be happening on that particular meeting will not be representing the entire community. So we have been having challenges with that, and we are requesting, if it's possible, the department to help. But we do have members of the department that attends, and I know they are attending. It's just that other entities are not attending. We have the mismatch between the trainings applied versus the workplace. And we often speak about the mismatch. As a CETA, we have found that the mismatch is not on the qualification as such. Yes, it's there, but the major issue is that we train a learner on tourism management at TUT. That learner is not going to get a job in the tourism space. So the mismatch that is overarching, that is the biggest that we have identified, is training versus workplace. So that is the problem. So when we do our after 5 years, we do the impact study. We're checking if you did a certain qualification, if you are appointed for that qualification, if you are employed in a space related to the qualifications that you have done. And you will get most of the learners are sitting in different spaces, which is not a problem because we are meeting one of the targets, which is job creation. Those learners are employed, but also as we go into every subsector, we want to see how it's doing in terms of them retaining their learners in their subsectors. Can move, Chair. And also we thought we must also just indicate how our applications unfolds. So the following stakeholders and legal entities who fall within CATHSSETA are invited. Normally we just use a date for the discretionary grant funding, and those would be CATHSSETA levy payers and non-levy payers operating within CATHSSETA subsectors, higher education institutions, universities, University of Technologies, TVET and ECT colleges, government departments, agencies, and state-owned enterprises within CATHSSETA. Training providers accredited within the CATHSSETA qualification. Can we move to the next slide? And we have 3 regions at CATHSSETA, which is the Western Cape. We have an office. We have partnered with the Northlink TVET College in Tygerberg, and our office is situated there. So this office is responsible for the 3 Capes, which is Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and Northern Cape. And we have another office at eThekwini TVET College in Dundee Avenue, and though they are responsible for Free State and KwaZulu-Natal provinces, we also have the Gauteng one, which is Gauteng North or Northwest, Limpopo, and Mpumalanga. Those are the contacts and addresses of the offices we have. And these are just the contacts for the people that are dealing with the mandatory grants and discretionary grants at the head office. And thank you, Chair, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members.
Thank you, Lebogang, for the presentation. I see there's a hand. Mark's iPhone, I have, I'm not sure if Mark's is part of our honorable members or if he's part of the delegation of CATHSSETA, because I would like to give honorable members an opportunity to pose their questions, make some remarks. And please, honorable members, do stick to your 3 minutes. I will time you 3 minutes, no longer than 3 minutes, please, because we all need to go to the Parliament precinct. Disang, is it possible for you to assist me with the hands? Disang? Okay, let me just take the first hand that I see. There's Mark's iPhone. I'm not sure who's Mark's iPhone. Honorable Hlongo, followed by Honorable Linda.
Thank you, Chair.
Please note me, Chair.
Okay, honorable members, before you come in, Honorable Hlongo, let me just acknowledge the CEO of CATHSSETA. I just saw there was a message because we asked for a greeting previously, and then the CEO had some technical difficulties. CEO, over to you. Is it CEO Tibela? CEO Tibela, if you would like to greet the portfolio committee. Okay, honorable members, I think we have lost the CEO there of CATHSSETA. I think let us proceed in the interest of time. Honorable Hlongo, followed by Honorable Linda, then Honorable Tito. Let me just see here. Followed by Honorable Ishmael, followed by Honorable Basson, followed by Honorable Likharaba.
Thank you, Chair. Can I come in?
Yes, you may proceed, Honorable Hlongo.
Thank you very much, Chair, and greetings to the Minister, the DM, the entire delegation from the department and CATHSSETA. Chair, the presentation states that there are no current partnerships between CATHSSETA and the Department of Tourism and TPSA. Now, how is it possible that a CETA responsible for tourism skills has no active partnership with the Department of Tourism? What caused the breakdown of the NTCE partnership that they had? And when will this partnership be reinstated? As I heard the minister speaking about it being reviewed, and who is responsible for fixing it? And how is CATHSSETA aligning its programs with government tourism priorities without working with the department? And what is your actual job placement rate after training? And does CATHSSETA has any mechanisms that exist to track learners after completion? Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Hlongo. Honorable Linda.
Good morning, Chairperson and everybody on the platform. Thank you for the presentation. Chairperson, we are being presented here with a picture of progress, but when one studies the detail, there are serious gaps between training output and real economic impact that it should have on tourism. So firstly, we see that tourism, or we are told that tourism supports 1.5 million jobs, yet there's no clear indication of how many learners actually find sustainable employment after completing programs. So I want to ask, how many of the tourism program graduates are in permanent employment or running viable businesses today? And how many simply cycle through internships without absorption? So secondly, Chair, the CATHSSETA presentation acknowledges a mismatch between the training provided and workplace needs. That is not a minor issue, it's a systemic failure. So my question is, what concrete changes is made to the curriculum and program design to align with real industry demand, particularly in digital tourism, customer experience, and SME development? Chairperson, it is highlighted the limited workplace placement opportunities. Yet, workplace exposure is the backbone of tourism training. So what specific measurable interventions are introduced to secure more placements, especially when SMEs are dominating the sector? And if you are if this has not yet improved, why should we continue funding programs that cannot place learners? Chairperson, nearly half of this budget is allocated to discretionary grants, and this is the concern. We see very little evidence of impact. This raises a serious oversight concern. What mechanisms are in place to ensure that this funding translates into actual job creation and tourism growth, rather than just compliance-driven spending? Can you demonstrate the value of money to this committee? Lastly, tourism. Tourism is repeatedly described as a vehicle for rural development, and we touched on that earlier. But the reality on the ground tells a different story. So I want to know, Chairperson, what portion of the beneficiaries come to rural areas, and how many emerging tourism entrepreneurs have been meaningfully supported to enter the market? Chairperson, you have mentioned this. If you cannot provide this data, how do you measure inclusivity? So in conclusion, Chair, what we are seeing here is a structure that is still largely input-driven rather than outcome-driven. The committee needs assurance that CATHSSETA is not simply training for the sake of training, but actively contributing to a competitive, inclusive, and job-creating tourism. Thank you, Chair. I would like the response to this. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Linda. Honorable Tito.
Thanks, Chairperson. Greeting to the Minister and also the Deputy Minister and everyone who is present. Chairperson, I'm also going to emphasize on the issue of the workplace placements. They cited that here there are limited workplace opportunities. It's a challenge to them. What binding mechanisms or incentives are you implementing to compare industry participation, and by when can this committee expect measurable improvements? And on the funding also, Chair, my fellow colleague, Ms. Linda, also emphasized on the issue of funding, but with nearly half their budget allocated to discretionary grants, what safeguards are in place to prevent inefficiency or misuse? And can they demonstrate measurable returns on investments for these funds? And on the skills mismatch also, why does a mismatch between training and industry needs still persist despite their mandate to identify the scarce skills, and what immediate corrective actions are being taken to fix this systematic failure? Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Tito. Honorable Ishmael.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning once again to everybody on the platform. I must say, looking at job opportunities, what initiatives is CATHSSETA taking to increase work placement opportunities for learners? This is very concerning, and colleagues have already raised this, but I must raise this again. This is a matter of major concern. You can't be saying something on a presentation, but there's no real output on it. Secondly is, when did the actual MOU between the department and CATHSSETA cease? Please, can you give us a date? Because it's unacceptable that, right up to now, we have no real MOU in place, and this missing link is crucial for us. So when will the department actually renew the MOU with CATHSSETA, and how will they ensure in this MOU that these concerns raised already on this platform be included in the MOU so that we can see some specific outcomes with regard to output rather than some glossy presentation? And I mean, no disrespect, I'm just trying to emphasize the importance of the information or the input we are giving. And then how does CATHSSETA support learners in finding employment after completing training programs? I think that's important, because you can have 1,000 training programs, but if you don't have anything substantial after that, we have a problem. And then again, looking at, training, or are there any upcoming training initiatives or programs CATHSSETA is launching that is already not in place, and what we're actually looking at with regard to specialized skills or scarce skills? And then how can employers or individuals apply for CATHSSETA's discretionary grant funding for training? And, I just want to highlight again, and I just want a specific response, is that how are you actually addressing skills gap in areas like digital tourism and sustainable practices? Because I think this is where we're going right now, and technology is key. And then what is CATHSSETA's key performance indicators for training and job opportunities or job placements? This is important because we need to know how much jobs are created. You know, in this country, we emphasize jobs, jobs, and more jobs, and we're not seeing the output in this presentation. And then how does CATHSSETA measure the impact of its training programs on employability and business growth? And what is CATHSSETA's track record in meeting its training and employment targets? Because you're not actually giving us this in your presentation. You just got a set of plans and you're giving us some minor detail, but we want more constructive output. And we want a return on investment, basically. And then on page 15, what criteria is used to evaluate applications for discretionary grant funding? And are there any plans to increase funding for specific training programs or sectors? I'm again zooming in because I think we need much more out on this in this particular sector or this area. And then what is the legislative mandate of CATHSSETA and how does CATHSSETA contribute to the National Development Plan 2030? And what role do you play in promoting sustainable tourism practices? And then again on pages 24 and 25, how is CATHSSETA addressing issues like low employer participation in training programs, especially considering you don't have a good relationship with the private sector, especially with TBCSA, etc. And what is CATHSSETA's strategic priorities for the next 3 to 5 years? I think we need some specifics out of there. And actually, I've got some recommendations, which I'll just run through quickly. CATHSSETA should leverage technology by developing online training models and digital platforms to increase accessibility and reach. 2 is CATHSSETA should allocate specific funding for SMME development and entrepreneurship training in tourism. 3, CATHSSETA should implement incentives and awareness campaigns to increase employee engagement in training programs because we definitely have loopholes there, we have challenges there. And then CATHSSETA should simplify discretionary grant application processes to improve uptake. And then 5thly, CATHSSETA should develop robust systems to evaluate training impact on employability and business growth. And lastly, CATHSSETA should strengthen collaborations with industry stakeholders to enhance job placements and industry relevance. Thank you, Chair. I hope I did it within 3 minutes.
No, you are always over your time. You're always over your time. You don't stick to the time that is allocated to you. Can you share those recommendations quickly in the group? Quick.
Will do, Chair. Thank you. Will do.
Shosho. Honorable Basson, I know you've woken up very early this morning. It's probably around 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Yeah, is it 4 o'clock? Oh, you may proceed, Honorable Basson.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable Ishmael, I'll give you 30 seconds of my time. Honorable Chairperson, I would like to know, how does the Ministry of Tourism plan to ensure that young people are meaningfully included and collaborated in our tourism activities, especially in a time where budget constraints are really being cut? I don't think the Minister seems to understand our frustration about young people being included in the tourism programs as well as township tourism. These are 2 sectors that is being promised the moon, the stars, and the sky, and they are not being implemented every time we get reports. Then my next question is, why is the National Career Expo discontinued by the Department of Tourism? Page 16. Last question, why is there no current relationship or partnership with the Department of CATHSSETA? Thank you, Chairperson.
No, that was a record time for you, Honorable Basson, and thank you for your questions. Honorable Likharaba.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Chairperson, I also wanted to raise a similar concern to the one highlighted by Honorable Hlongo. It appears that CATHSSETA is providing training for the tourism sector. However, there seems to be limited or no visible partnership with the department. My question is, Chair, how is CATHSSETA ensuring that training programs it provides are aligned with the priorities and needs of the Department of Tourism? The second one is, and what formal mechanisms are in place between CATHSSETA and the department to ensure coordination, planning, and accountability in developing skills for the tourism sector. On the presentation, Chair, I think it's the last or second to the last slide on challenges. I just want to understand what economic pressures on tourism business that are resulting in reduced skills levies, whereas there is no partnership between the two. Thank you, Chair. Chairperson, I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Nigaraba. I'm assuming that Honorable Mashabela is not in the meeting.
She's in the meeting, Chair. She has connectivity problem.
Oh, okay. Is she going to pose questions?
No, I don't think so, Chair.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Lebogang, we will now give you an opportunity to interact with the questions posed by our honorable members.
Thank you, Chair. I must just request, Chair, that I don't have accurate numbers on some of the questions that have been cited. So I would request, if it's possible, that we provide that in written communication later. The committee will give us the timelines. From Honorable Linda, the issue of tourism has created 15,000 jobs. How many tourism learners have been employed? So the presentation that we have today, it's just encompassing what CATHSSETA has done, not what has been done nationwide. So from the 15,000 that we're talking about, it's nationwide. So what we will do, Honorable Linda, is to go check the portion that CATHSSETA has contributed. We do tracer studies after 3 years. We have trained the learners to trace where they are. And after 5 years, we do impact study. So we can share maybe the previous 3 years impact study results so that the honorable members can see what we have done, because we interview the learners that we, as specifically as CATHSSETA has assisted. And we have a question about limited spaces, what interventions are being made. The challenge there is that I think on some, because some from the other honorable members are the same, so they will get the responses. So the issue of limited workplaces is that we don't have employers that are willing to host our learners. And as CATHSSETA, we also have an incentive to say we have workshops, and we will call them to ask them to partner with us to contribute their establishments to assist the learners, because these learners will have to come back to their employment. So we give them an incentive of some money that will assist them with their operations, because we do understand that you hosting learners, there's overheads that you need to be looking into. So there is money that is paid into the employer's account with the learner stipends and the learner and the employer's incentives. We do try to attract them to assist them. I think, honorable members, we can agree that the qualifications that we had, which is legacy qualification, some of them were last developed, even the TVET college ones were last developed back in the years. And as we train the learners right now, some of the current trends that the industry requires do not have. So the process that we have embarked on of reviewing the qualifications is a mechanism for us to align the training that we give to learners with the industry so that we have a fit for purpose and qualifications that are in line with what the industry requires. And the DG mechanism made to demonstrate value for money, I think that Honorable Linda will also come through our research report because I don't have it now in terms of numbers, but I must say, in the just top of my head, I know that our programs are assisting in generating a lot of jobs. The previous report that we had last year, we have a lot of learners that have been absorbed. That will be coming, and the members will be able to see in terms of the numbers that are there. And the vehicle of rural development, what position comes from the rural? We do have on our APP, honorable members, a specific target for rural where we are funding rural programs. We have a target that is where we are specific on SMMEs, cooperatives, and NGOs. And we do partner with them and we do report on them, and they are part of our areas of strategic areas of that we're looking into at the immediate effect. So there are two issues that I will not be able to respond for Honorable Linda. We will submit that written. Now go to Honorable Tito. I'm not sure, I forgot now if I think it's a she or he. I just wrote here, my apologies. I think she spoke about issues of incentives to say, do we give employers funds to attract them? And yes, we are attracting them, and we do also speak to them on the importance of them opening their workplaces for us to place their learners, as they will be also assisting the nation to prepare these learners for proper employment. And there was a question about misuse of funds. As CATHSSETA, if you can check as well on our previous years' audit reports, we don't have misuse of funds. We are functioning well within our organization, and there is nothing that is glaring there that where we're having misuse of funds. Is one of the CETAs that do not have such in their reports and findings. And the issues of skills mismatch, scarce skills, review of the. So what I'm saying on the skills scarce skills is that we're trying to indeed close this gap by reviewing the qualification, because I'm personally of the view that the root cause of the placement and the learners getting jobs that are related to the qualifications they have studied for is the qualification. For instance, if you have a TVET learner that has been trained and the TVET do not have, for instance, in the tourism space, Amadeus as part of the curriculum, employers can easily just say that we agree with you that we can place the learners, but I want an intern that will run the system. And if we don't have that embedded on the qualification, as a CETA right now, we are funding some of the TVET colleges to get the license to train learners on Amadeus. It's part of our IT, collaborations or partnerships that we have. And if we're not including it in the qualification and helping learners, beats by beats, one TVET that applies and that those that do not apply, we're not able to help them. So I'm thinking us reviewing the qualifications and including what the industry requires from us and moving away from the old that have shown us that they are not helping us because we continue to have this skills mismatch. The outcomes of the new qualifications will be able to see, to show us the impact or the difference that we're going to be getting. So we are doing something in a nutshell, Honorable Tito, about the mismatch because we are reviewing the qualifications to align with what the industry needs so that when we want to place, we don't have employers who would reject the learners because the qualifications or their experience from the college does not meet their requirements. But as well, we do have employers who just don't want to assist us, so the department can also assist us in that matter. And I'm going to move to Honorable Ishmael. I'm not sure as well because her questions were almost a lot, but I will also be advised if I omitted some, but I tried to write, with speed as honorable members who were speaking. She spoke about increasingly workplace output. So I will also respond on this in writing, Honorable Ishmael, on the numbers and the actual work that we have done on the output on the workplace component that we have worked in the past 5 years on our research that we have done, which is the analysis that we have done. And then there was a question on when the MOU ceased, and I don't have the exact date, but I think members of the Department of Tourism, if they're in the meeting, they can help. But it was last year. And because we have partnered with Department of Tourism, and it's them that decided that the Career Expo that has been running should cease. I think they will help us as well, but we will bring this as well in writing. And there was a question about how CATHSSETA helps learners to get employment on the APP. So yes, as we advise for discretionary grants, we do require employers to absorb percentages of the learners that they are hosting. But if they do not have resources as a CETA, sometimes it becomes difficult for us to push them to absorb them. And the philosophy that we have is, even if we have an employer who has learners, and if they can just absorb one, they would have made a difference because they also look into their revenues, the resources they have, for them to absorb the learners. So sometimes it becomes difficult, and we do understand, the challenge that South Africa has currently of unemployment. And that's why when we advertise, we do indicate on our form if there is a contribution that the employer is going to add and how many learners would they think they will absorb. Other question was, are there new training interventions? Yes, indeed, there are new training interventions that we're going to start implementing in the next financial year. We ran a discretionary grant window opening, window application from last year, December. It closed on the 30th of January. We are currently evaluating, and implementation will start in the first quarter of the financial year. So those that will be deemed successful from the cohorts that we have advertised, they will be provided. But I must also say that there is a huge challenge of supply and demand. Already I had the stats with the team that is busy with evaluation. We had about close to 5,000 applications. that we have received from different institutions, which is government departments, which is your NGOs, SMMEs, trade unions, and all those entities that I alluded to when I was presenting. And you can imagine if you only have a certain amount of money and you have so many people applying, it gets difficult, for you to be fair and provide, equitable distribution. But we are trying as a CETA to ensure that we are fair and there's equity. I think equitability that is, that has good rationality on it. And there's a question that says are there new training, or how can people apply for funding? I had a slide on the presentation that spoke about the application process. And we do advertise once a year for discretionary grants, and we evaluate and award to those that have made it, that have submitted required documents and whose proposals are aligned to the critical skills and the critical skills that we would have included on the applications. And the digital skills gap, we have, yes, as a CETA, identified this as one of our strategic focus. And as I said, we do have programs that are tourism related, that are also IT tourism related, that we have funded. We will provide a report on those. For example, is the Ahmadiyya program that we have funded, through TVET colleges for them to get the license to train learners that have completed tourism programs. So before they go for work placements, we do provide them with their training so that when they go out there, they are ready and they are well equipped with all requirements. The impact of employment and criteria for evaluation. So we do have a criteria for evaluation, which is not that robust as the evaluation that we use for SCM tenders. We have taken cognizance that this is a grant. It's money that needs to go to the communities. We do not have to make our processes too stringent. However, there are certain requirements that the applicants need to meet. It is a scoring evaluation process where evaluators will score based on different items that we would have identified. Some of them will be contribution, some of them will be rural, some will be just applying for programs that are not in rural. So our first priority, so the scoring will also indicate our first priority, for instance, will be that. So if you scored more on rural and on your pivotal list of learners that are going to be trained, if you're indicating more of female, we have our own CATHSSETA transformational imperatives, that looks into Black females more. We also look into areas like that. So also we're checking from the application if there's an indication of a training that is related to our priorities. And like I said, we're not approving anyone who comes with an application that does not have a qualification that is on our critical and scarce list, as we attach it on the application pack. Impact of employed and criteria of evaluation. Legislation, I also alluded to the legislation that we are using in the presentation, which is the Skills Development Act, PFMA, grants regulations, the SAQA Act. the Skills Levies Act, there is a list on the presentation on all of them that we are using. And we have low employer participation. I think I have also added on some of the challenges that we have on employer participation, and also on what we do to help them to be able to partner with us, the incentives that we're giving them. I've alluded to that. And honorable member requested the list of strategic priorities. They are included on the presentation. And the fact that we should also leverage on online training. So as indicated in date, going forward, training provider accreditation is done by QCTO. That mandate has been taken away from the CATHSSETA. So training online, it's a way to go. So we can fund some of the providers who comes to us if they want to implement such training, but that will happen after we concluded the review of the qualifications, because we can't start an infrastructure like that on qualifications that we know they are about to cease. Would rather wait for a new space of qualifications, and then we can leverage on that to make sure that we maybe fund the training providers to have those online platforms. And there was a question, I think it was an advice that we must fund SMMEs. And as alluded before, we have a target on SMMEs, and we do fund SMMEs, and we also do have strategic partnerships with some entities that deals with SMMEs. We have a program as well where we have SMMEs that we're working on an international program, and we also gave them a skills program after completion. There were 50, about 37 made it. They got certification, and the plan is to assist them because they have worked on an international event. And what we want to do is to put them on a program and also just do an analysis of what they would require to improve their businesses. And also we have agreed that we will set aside a number of interns that will be paid by CATHSSETA to be working with them for at least 2 years. And after 2 years, we'll go do an analysis to see how those businesses are doing. So they are working within the tourism hospitality space. We do have such programs. And then we need to simplify the DG, that is noted. We will try to also see, there's no problem or harm in us, going back and refining, what we do. We can, make sure that in the previous year, and in the upcoming year, see what is it that we can remove, what can we make to simplify the process. And I spoke about the scoring evaluation program that we evaluate, and we're using a scoring program on our evaluations as we evaluate. So that was the last question. I'll move to Honorable Basson. Why the ministry has decided to, how Ministry of Tourism include, I think it was how come the two entities do not have an MOU? So because the previous MOU has since been cancelled, we have advertised. I'm not sure, because we have invited them to apply. We're dealing with a lot of departments. We report to Department of Arts and Culture. We report to Department of Tourism. We have a Department of Fisheries as well, and other entities as well. So we advertised like last year, November, December, we have sent an application for strategic partnerships with government departments, and we just evaluated that. It's now going to the board. It went to the BAC and so we are now finalizing that so that we can contract. And that is money that is coming from the attritions of learners that we have from discretionary grants. So that's why we also advertised now. Every quarter we will check the attritions, advertise for partnerships so that we are able to utilize the funds that we have. So we have advertised for government departments to apply and levy payers. So we just finalized. I'm not sure if the Department of Tourism has applied, but I know we sent the SDF that works with us an email, and the advertisement was on the website. Right now, we don't have a contract, but we are willing to work with them to make sure that we have a contract. Safe to say that in the next meeting, if we get invited or if we are requested to provide a report, this matter will be looked into immediately so that it can be closed. And we understand that we need to align with them with the national priorities that they have, as we had that MOU that we had before. And that MOU was not only looking on the career expo. We are sitting with them on different committees. I personally sit on the EXCO committee of the on the HRD committee of the department. And I have some of my team members that are sitting on there is the committee for tour guides as well. I have the ETQA manager that also sits there. So we are sitting on, different committees that are working on different priorities, even if it may not be all of them, but we are aligned with them in terms of their skills development. Hence, it's two of us that are sitting on the HRD committee. And why Career Expo? Why is there no partnership? I think I've alluded to that. I will go to Honorable Liharaba. She asked about the limited partnership. How is alignment made? I think I just was able to say how is the alignment made. I think is the alignment made with the department's priorities. So like I'm saying, over and above the MOU that we have, there are other committees where CATHSSETA and department are collaborating on. So that informs the work that we do, or when we advertise, we use the information that is coming on the committees that we are sitting on. So there is somewhat an alignment on what we do, because as well, when we do the SSP, we do invite the department to be part of the workshops, I could say, that we are giving to the industry. And we had one of the executives sitting on our board. However, he just resigned, I think, last month. And he's sitting on the board to represent tourism, not Department of Tourism alone. Like his role was to represent the entire tourism space. So we're still waiting for the department as well to give us a new name of the board member for us to submit to Department of Higher Education for that person to be appointed. So there is partnership that is there, and there is alignment, because if they're sitting on the board and when we come and present on our strategic focus or operational focus, the representatives would be able to say, no, but the department is looking at this, please add that, and so forth. And I think I also responded now on plans to ensure alignment. And there's one on tourism skills development. I can't even see what I wrote here, but I think it was about the skills development. How do we work on the skills development? I'm not sure about this. I can't even see what I wrote because I was doing writing quickly. If maybe Honorable Le Haraba can just help with the question on skills development. I'm not sure it's criteria that I wrote here. They can send it in writing and we will gladly respond to that. And there was a question why the levies are reduced, because the industry, I think, is doing well. But all I can say is that as a CETA, we're receiving these levies already through SARS. And there has been a decline, I think, after COVID, because we all know that the CETAs, the CATHSSETA with its subsectors, which includes hospitality, tourism, sports, almost all our subsectors were hit hard by COVID. I remember we had to cut our budget by half at that time. We were sitting on about 98 million, revenue, which has now since grown back. There is traction of levy payers that are paying. I'm not sure the issue of reduced, if I spoke about it, but there is no reduction of levies that we are seeing. We're seeing upward trajectory in that regard, unless I did not understand the question about levies as well. With that said, Chairperson, these are the questions that I was able to note and be able to respond to. Thank you.
Thank you, Lebogang, for interacting with the questions of the honorable members. I would just like to do some closing remarks. I've seen your CEO wrote a message there that she had to take a leave to join the meeting with the Minister of Higher Education and Training. So I'll do some closing remarks, and then the delegation from the Department of Tourism, as well as your delegation, Lebogang, and DDG Mabusela, you may also then take your leave, because after the closing remarks, we'll proceed with our in-house administration.
That is noted, Chair. Should we wait for you to do the closing remarks? And
you wait for me. Yeah, you wait for me to do the closing remarks so that you see the recommendations that the committee have made.
Yes, Chair.
And also you duly note them as well. Thank you. The presentation made by CATHSSETA is welcome and appreciated. However, it is clear from the presentation and matters raised by the committee that CATHSSETA is not doing enough to support the hospitality and the tourism sector. The following observations and recommendations are made to both CATHSSETA and the Department of Tourism. CATHSSETA, working with the Department of Tourism and the Tourism Business Council of South Africa, should consider developing a comprehensive tourism sector skills strategy that is in line with current skills needs of the sector. This recommendation has been made to the Minister before and should replace the current strategy that is in place. CATHSSETA should consider offering more technology-based digital skills programs, including catalytic programs that can encourage citizens to open booking platform companies. The Department of Tourism and CATHSSETA, working with the Department of Higher Education and Training, should review the curriculum offered at institutions of higher learning, including TVET colleges, to be aligned with industry needs. Given the contribution of the tourism sector to employment and GDP in the country, CATHSSETA should look into increasing the support to tourism and hospitality-related training programs. CATHSSETA should provide demand-led training programs that guarantee employment or absorption after completing training. This requires enhanced collaboration with the employers and the training providers. The skills sector plan should be aligned with sector needs and implementation be monitored for effectiveness and efficiency. This should address the mismatch between training provided and industry needs. CATHSSETA, working with the Department of Tourism, should provide training programs targeted at villages, townships, and small dorpies, especially villages and townships. It is of great concern that CATHSSETA has no current partnership with the Department of Tourism and the Tourism Business Council of South Africa. It begs the question what informs the training programs offered by CATHSSETA and those offered by the department. This is unacceptable given the mismatch in the training provided and industry needs. The Department of Tourism is urged to report back to the committee within 3 months on the collaborations that would have been facilitated in the intervening period from this meeting today. Collaboration must not be confined to the National Careers Expo as presented here today. Instead, the collaboration should be on substantive demand-led training programs and curriculum review based on current industry needs. CATHSSETA should partner with the Department of Tourism on providing professional skills programs for operational support for the turning infrastructure community projects into sustainable tourism businesses. The Department of Tourism should identify more people who should receive recognition of prior learning from experience in the sector, especially from villages and townships. The Department of Tourism should identify more people, as I've stated, for the prior learning. CATHSSETA should develop training programs targeting SMMEs. This should be designed and be done in collaboration with the Department of Tourism. It is important for CATHSSETA to provide training on skills, training based on scarce skills. CATHSSETA and the Department of Tourism, working with the Department of Employment and Labor, should collaborate on identifying and providing this scarce skills training. CATHSSETA should leverage technology in providing online training programs to ensure a wider reach, especially soft skills such as financial management, business management, and others. So those are my closing remarks, and I would like to again extend a great appreciation for the attendance of to our meeting to the CEO of CATHSSETA, Mr. Tibela, or Mrs. Tibela, and acting DDG, Mr. Mabusela, and Ms. Lebogang. We appreciate your presence here today in the Portfolio Committee on Tourism, as well as DG Vele and the team from the Department of Tourism, and an extent also a appreciation for the attendance of our minister, even though she left at 11, and our Honorable Deputy Minister as well. You may now take your leave as we proceed with our in-house administration. Lebogang.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much for the presentation and answers. I was impressed at how you noted everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, all honorable members.
Disang, over to you. You may flight the minutes and then take us through, as well as on our oversight that we need to do in April. And if you have any updates for us on the, is it a working study that we're supposed to do overseas? You may proceed, Disang.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Isang, we've lost you.
Oh, I did not realize that I'm still muted.
You may proceed, Isang.
Okay, Chair. Yeah, it's the meeting of the 17th of March, and the meeting was basically to speak to SASTRA regarding their short-term rental model, compliance and applicable legislation. Also, the Department of Tourism to brief us on the framework for regulating the sharing economy, which is a short-term rental framework. This is the attendance of members present. The delegation that was led by the minister for the department, and also the Mr. Martins for Sastra. Then we've got this your introduction, the presentation from the Short-Term Rental Association, and then also the Department of Tourism. And then we've got our conclusions and resolutions of the meeting. And also the adoption of the meeting of the 10th of March 2026. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Disang. Honorable members, there you have our minutes. Is there a mover for the adoption of the minutes? Or if there are any corrections, you may proceed, Honorable Ishmael.
Chair, I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Ishmael. Is there a seconder?
Honorable Kharaba's hand is up.
Honorable Kharaba, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I second the minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Kharaba. With that, honorable members, we had a move and a seconder, and our minutes are then duly adopted. Disang, you can take us through our oversight program.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Honorable members, as you remember, last week we took a resolution regarding that date of the 20th to the 25th for our oversight visits to Mpumalanga and Limpopo. However, when we look at the logistics and the places that we need to visit, the Mpumalanga province, basically it's very vast and the places are in different regions. So it will be possible for the committee to go to the two provinces in 1 week. Hence, we propose that rather we focus on Mpumalanga in the week, and then we do another round for that will focus on Limpopo as a province, because we won't be able to do the two in 1 week because of the vastness of the thing. So the program stands as this, Chair. I did share it with the members on email. So it seeks to basically look at the different areas within Mpumalanga. The first one it is in the Nkangala region, which is a visit to the SS Kosana in Tembisilehani local municipality. It is a DBSA project. So in there, we've also requested them that we would like to engage also with the stakeholders, as the committee will be engaging with the project managers and the Department of Tourism. We also requested that in all our visits, the Mpumalanga Tourism Authority and the Parks Agency must be present in our engagement. Yeah, so that's what we have requested. And then we also will visit the Kodongwana Cultural Village, which is also in Kangala region. That one, it is a visit to the renowned Dr. Esther Mahlangu, which got to do with cultural tourism. And then we've also got we will also go to the Khertsibanda region, and then we'll go to then Songimvelo Nature Reserve, which is Dry Camp, And then we'll also be meeting with the stakeholders. It's also a DBSA project because the committee also look at the issues of the projects that the committee will engage. And then the committee will go to Ehlanzeni region. There, we will also visit another DBSA project, which is the Manyeleti Nature Reserve in Bushbuck Ridge. Then we'll also do the same and engage with the communities and the stakeholders that are there. And then we will go to the Samora Machel Heritage Site, which is in Kamati Port.
Jisang, we've lost you there. Jisang, we have lost you. Jisang is still in the meeting. Let me just see the rest of the program. Okay, honorable members, I think Jisang have shared with us the program, with all of us the program. So on Thursday, the 23rd of April, the committee will then depart at 7 a.m. We will be having
Yes, I'm back, Chair.
Oh, I've continued there where you left off, but you may proceed, Jisang.
Yes, so I think that is the program, Chair, and then the intention is for the committee to leave on a Sunday, preceding the oversight, and then come back on Friday in the late evening. Yeah, that's how it is going to be, Chair.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Thank you, Jisang. Honorable members, there you have our oversight that we will be doing in the province of Mpumalanga, the province of Honorable Basson and Honorable Hlongo. I see there are hands, Honorable Basson, followed by Honorable Ismail, followed by Honorable Hlongo. Honorable
Thank you,
Basson.
Chairperson. It's sad that we are not going to Ermelo. I would have invited you all for a braai. Chairperson, if I can please ask Desang if he can just WhatsApp the program for us, because we have to put in permission from our chief whips as it is very close to our registration for the voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Basson. Honorable Ismail.
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy with the program. I just wanted to ask, if I'm not pushing it a bit too much, do we have any TEF projects in that area? Maybe we're doing a lot of DBSA, which I appreciate. But if there were any TEF, I thought maybe we could try to accommodate one. If not, it's fine. Just a suggestion, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Ismail. Honorable Hlongo.
Thank you very much, Chair. Just where Honorable Ishmael has left off, I also wanted to include that we do go to such programs. There is one, a Graskop Coach, a Sang of Opa Pilane of TF, I think. You can just do your research there. And then on the issue of the Tuesday program, I see Makonjwa Mountain, and then there's where you speak of Samora Machel. But Samora Machel is within Ehlanzeni. So I'd propose that you remove Makonjwa and put Samora Machel. The reason I'm suggesting Samora Machel Monument is that it's a heritage site in the deep rural parts of the province in closer to Komarti Port, and I feel we need to go there just for rural tourism. So I suggest that after Songimvelo, when we come back from Gersibande region, now entering Ehlanzeni, we're from lunch at 1 o'clock, we quickly drive to that Samora Machel monument rather than putting it when you are already at other parts of the region. It's going to be far distant. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, honorable members. Disang, I hope you've noted the suggestions by members. Disang? Hey, we've lost Disang again.
I know, I'm here, Chair.
Okay, proceed, Disang. I think you are sleeping
listening.
today.
I was listening and making notes, so I forgot to unmute. Yeah, no, Chair, we have noted the members' inputs. We will try and accommodate that and see how we can think. I think Dr. Kuza is also noting on the other side. We will see how we can do that. The Honorable Son, the present program was sent out via email. I'm going to send it out also via WhatsApp so that it's easy for you to access it. So that I'll just make the chest and then we'll send it out again. Thank you very much, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Disang. Is there any update in terms of the overseas trip?
Yes, Chair. We have communicated with the country. They have sent us what is that we need to do first in terms of the steps, which we've got already. Most of the members have got official passports. It's only 2 or 3 members that needs to finalize the passports, and after that we'll be doing the visa applications. Then we'll be able to send to work on the draft program for the committee for the Netherlands, and then they will be able to assist us. So the communication is taking place as soon as we have finalized that, and then the House Chairperson will be able to approve, knowing that we have done most of the things that are required before you even start with the application, Chair. But we will try and give the members at least a weekly update in terms of the arrangements.
Okay, thank you, Disang. Honorable members, those of you who do not have your official passports yet, it's very quick to do it there at the Home Affairs right there in town, where you go in, you tell them you an honorable member, and 1, 2, 3, I can tell you they will put you in the front of the queue and they will assist you immediately. And within a week, or in less than a week, you will have your passport with you. So please do hurry there with the letter that we've received, so that you get your passports for those who do not have their official passports yet. With that said, I would like to just thank all our honorable members and thank you for your participation today in our Portfolio Committee on Tourism. Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, honorable members.
Chairperson, we forgot to announce. We forgot to announce one more thing. Members for next week, because there's only a Tuesday, but most of the days are basically constituency week. So the meeting for next week, we will incorporate it into the meeting for our meetings for next term. So next week we won't have a committee meeting, Chair.
Okay, thank you.
So that we don't. We don't inconvenience the members for next week.
No, because they will be there in their home provinces, and then they must just come for this meeting. So, thank you for reminding me, Tisang. Honorable members, there you have it. Next week, our meeting will not be taking place. It will be incorporated in the meeting the following week. Thank you so much, honorable members. Our meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Bye-bye.